You're listening to Afterlight Fictions. There once was a home that was just as ordinary as any other. It sat in a neighborhood that was quite unremarkable, near people who were content to go about their lives without any kinds of hiccups or irregularities. But one home had something inside that was different from all the others. It was a little boy by the name of Thomas. Thomas was special, but he hadn't learned that yet. On this particular night, the clouds were pouring rain, and the lightning was crackling louder than usual. The heart of the storm was close, and it frightened Thomas as he lay in bed, trying to go back to sleep. The rain was hitting the side of the house even harder now, and it sounded like a tiny little army was marching against his bedroom wall. He squeezed his blanket tighter as he told himself to be brave. There was no reason to be afraid. "There's no such thing as monsters or goblins," he said out loud. "Mom and Dad are right. There's nothing to be scared of." Thomas had many talents, but not one of them was convincing himself that monsters did not exist. He peeked around his room in the dark as the lightning flashed and flickered. Shadows waited while strange objects appeared to take shape as the darkness danced with the light. Something caught Thomas's eye as he scanned the back of his room near the closet. It almost looked like something ran toward the door. "It can't be," he thought to himself. "There's no such thing. I'm just being silly. I'm almost an adult. I know better." Thomas was 8 years old. But as he looked again toward his bedroom closet, he noticed the door was cracked open. "I'm sure I closed it. What is it doing open?" Thomas looked again, carefully this time, searching around the room for clues, but nothing offered any hints. He mustered up some courage and dangled his feet off of the bed while he gathered his thoughts. He looked at the door once more as he squinted through the dark. His flashlight was close by, so he grabbed it and jumped to the floor. Thomas carefully maneuvered his way across the floor to avoid making any creaks or cracks. His mom and dad would surely hear him, and he didn't want to get into any trouble. As Thomas got closer to the door, he held his flashlight even tighter, with his thumb by the light switch. He paused a moment, just to take a breath and listen before he swung the closet door open. He shined his searchlight inside. Nothing. Thomas quietly closed the door and spun toward his bed. See, Mom and Dad were right, he thought. He turned off his flashlight, and his eyes began to adjust to the dark once more, and eventually he drifted off to sleep. The next day, Thomas went about his usual activities. He got dressed, went to school, came home, played outside with his best friend Jack, and once the sun began to set, he said goodbye to his friend before coming back home for dinner and a little TV before going to bed. As his mom said goodnight, she turned off the light switch and Thomas's eyes started to adjust to the darkness once more. He could hear the pieces of music from the crickets and other creepy things outside and decided to open a window so he could hear them all. He hopped off the side of the bed and his left foot made the floor creak as he got a little closer to the window. Thomas unlatched the lock and slid the window open. All at once, he could hear the concert of the summer night. Before he could turn around, though, he heard the floor creak. He paused. He was too afraid to look. Thomas closed his eyes and decided he would leap around on the count of 5 and attack whatever was there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He spun around, ready to kick and scream, but there was nothing there. He looked toward the closet door again. It was cracked open, just a hair. I know I closed that, thought Thomas, I'm sure of it. He mustered up some extra bravery and lunged toward the door. As soon as he opened it, he saw 2 golden eyes looking back at him, as if they were in shock that he had actually opened the door. "Oh, hello," said a voice in the closet. Thomas froze. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't. He felt his own eyes growing wide, and his breath escaped his chest. "Oh, don't worry," said the voice. "I'm not nearly as bad as my brothers and sisters." The creature could see that no amount of chatting was going to help, so long as his golden eyes were the only things showing. Perhaps revealing more of himself might make a gesture of goodwill? No, probably not. Unless he was planning on scaring the child to death from fear alone. Maybe it would try a question. Yes, it thought. I will ask a question. "Do you like games?" asked the glowing eyes in the closet. Thomas thought carefully for a moment. Should I just yell for help? Or run away as fast as I can? Or, yes, he managed to stutter. I like games. Fantastic, exclaimed the eyes. They seemed to glow even more with anticipation. If you close the door and count to 3, I'll disappear like a magic trick. What? Thomas was confused. Why was it wanting to play a game? Did it want to leave? Okay, said Thomas as he reached for the door. A thin claw appeared to stop the door before it clicked shut. Its eyes looked intently at Thomas before speaking. Make sure you count to 3. No cheating. It pulled the door shut. Thomas closed his eyes tight and began to count. 1, 2,